I updated. I don't know why it does this. But in any case, back to the Tector Gear. Now this covers Zero's mostly Zero's upper body, arms, not the hands, and his face. Pretty much the eyes, ears, and head part where he keeps his sluggers. His face still being revealed. Now, this was part of Zero's training. Now, like I mentioned before, the Tector Gear doesn't really increase Zero's power. It restrains them. And later, this would be known as the Tector Gear Zero. Now, I'm just reading this now. This was actually used in the in a live action Ultraman show. It was actually used to hide Zero's identity because Ultra Galaxy Legend Mega Monster Battle, I think I now may be confusing the two, hadn't premiered yet. Now this is the Tector Gear Hatred. Now, it's very similar to the regular Tector Gear, however, instead it has, black markings. Now, and it's also a black version. Now, this one was purposely made to restrain Zero's power and make him weaker. Now, you're thinking, can't Zero just take off the gear? Well, Now, the Tector Gear in the first movie was locked and could only be released by Ultraman King, who in the show universe is the most powerful Ultra and thus ruler of the Land of Light. He also has a relationship to a certain Ultra, but I'll get into that a little later. Now this gear didn't have a lock, but however, if Zero ever tried to remove it, it would shock him. It would deliver a powerful electric shock to his body. However, he was able to tear this off with another form we'll get into a little later. Now he's also had armor known as the Slugger Gear, or the Zero Slugger Gear. But these were made for a stage show, so I'm not going to get into it right now. So, let's move on to Ultimate Zero. But before we... Bless you! Welcome! But before we get into that, we need to get into two items. First is the Ultra Zero bracelet, then the Ultimate bracelet. Now the Ultimate bracelet was given to Zero by his father in order to travel to other dimensions. This debuted in Ultraman Zero the movie. Next is the Ultimate bracelet, which allows him to access his next form we're going to talk about after this. Again, debuted in the same movie. Now the original purpose of the Ultra bracelets was to Now, it was supposed to act... Now, the original purpose was because Zero was going to another dimension. This would allow Zero to store enough energy to allow Zero to transform at least 3 times when he was in another universe. And it also acted as a tether connecting him back to his home universe. Now, this could also store his Zero Eye. Now, it also came with the Zero Spark. This thing right here. It could also transform, ignore that, into the Ultra Zero Lance. Now, this is very similar to another Ultra named Ultraman Jack. Hey, they know style. But when it got upgraded to the Ultimate bracelet, it became the Ultimate Zero Armor. Now, he's either referred to in this form as Ultraman Ultimate Zero or just Ultimate Zero. Now, what this armor does is allow Zero to travel to other dimensions freely. However, this also takes up a lot of energy, so we can't use it like willy-nilly, And depending on how far the universe he wants to travel to, depends on how long he can use the armor. When he traveled to Ultraman G's universe in order to investigate Belial, who I'll get into a little later after we cover the main Ultra Brothers. You know what? We'll cover the Showa Ultra Brothers too. We'll cover all the Showa, not in the same video, obviously. Yeah, and the Ultimate Zero and the Ultimate Bracelet was damaged. It eventually got repaired, I don't know how, allowing Zero to return to the main universe. Now, its special technique is the final Ultimate Zero, where the main body armor combines with the sword on Zero's left arm to form a bow and arrow-like weapon. Zero will then pull back an energy bow and shoot the sword forward, similar to an arrow. Next is Strong Corona Zero. Now, Zero got this form by fusing with Ultraman Dyna and Ultraman Cosmos to make Ultraman Saga. We'll go into him another time. But basically, he uses the Ultimate Bracelets to access these form changes. Now, Strong Corona is actually named after Ultraman Dyna's Strong type and Ultraman Cosmos' Corona mode. Now, this is Zero's power form. I know I said I wouldn't go into these sort of things because there's so many, but this is actually a transformation. But you know what? Power form is too. With all Zero's power-ups, it's kind of confusing. But again, in any case, this increases Zero's strength. Now, his special attack is the Garnet Buster. Now, he places his hand on the Ultimate Bracelet, and his hand is coated in fire-like energy. He'll then bring it around while holding his arm like so, and thrust it forward, creating a fire blast of energy. Next is Lunar Miracle Zero. And if you guys can see, each time he gains a new... What is it? Oh, never mind. Each time he changes forms in his Zero as his main form, his slugger will change. In this case, his sluggers turn blue. Now, Lunar Miracle Zero is Zero's analytical form, and it specializes in energy attacks. Now, this is named from Ultraman Dyna's Miracle type and Ultraman Cosmos' Lunar mode. Now, its special technique is the Miracle Zero Slugger. Now, this was the first instance of energy sluggers, but of non-removable sluggers, but I don't count it as such because I'll explain in a little bit. This allows Zero to create blue copies of his Zero Sluggers and use it in multiple slash attacks. Now, the reason I don't mention these as non-removable sluggers is because they're illusions. Zero is never actually seen taking off his regular Zero Sluggers, so I don't count it. Go over him when we go over Belial. Next is Shining Ultraman Zero. Now, this debuted in Ultraman Zero in Ultra Fight Zero Part 2, Season 2. Now, Shining Ultraman Zero is basically allows him to do anything. It increases his strength and overall power, and allows him to create a place called the Shining Field, where pretty much time moves faster than it does in the world. For you anime fans, think of it as the hyperbolic time chamber from the Dragon Ball franchise. And to quote Mike Nelson from MST3K, semi-quote, space becomes warped and time becomes bendable. Now, basically, Zero has the same attacks, but they're known as Shining Wide Shot, Shining Millennium Slash, and etc. Now, this also allows Zero to perform a self-exorcism. Basically, what that means is, if an invasive force enters Zero's body, he can use his Shining Ultraman Zero form to purge himself from the evil influence. Next is Ultraman Zero Beyond. Now, this debuted in Ultraman G. Now, to do this, we have to go over the transformation. Now, Zero and his current human host for that series, known as Leto, gained it from Ultraman Hikari. Now, he originally had 4 capsules, those being the capsules of... Must be the football game. Yeah, you guys can just ignore that. My family gets crazy for football. So, yeah, that's gonna happen. So, anyway, he had the Ginga Crystal, he had the Ginga Capsule, Victory Capsule, X Capsule, and Orb Origin Capsule. And they were basically combined into the New Generation Capsules. He combined the Ginga and Orb Capsule to become New Generation Capsule Alpha. He combined the New Generation Capsule. He combined the capsules of Ginga, Victory, and X to become the New Generation Capsule Beta. And we'll basically be going from there. First, Leto, with Zero's possessing him, shouts out, Ginga! Orb! Now, instead of G's transformation where they rise their hands up, they will actually face each other. And then Leto, being possessed by Zero, will put them in his we'll put him in his fusion knuckle. And he'll do the same thing with the New Generation Capsule Beta, but holding it to his side, similar to how Riku does his fusion rise. And he'll say, Victory! X! And the two will then face themselves once again. He'll then put that in the fusion knuckle. He'll then put his Zero Eye Neo on top of his fusion riser. He'll then scan them, like so, and instead of saying the normal fusion rise, the fusion riser will say, Neo! Fusion rise! Leto will thrust out the fusion riser, and in Zero's voice he'll shout, I have no limits! He'll then bring it up to a space like he was transforming with the Zero Eye Neo normally, and then pull the trigger. The riser will then say, New Generation Capsule, Alpha, Beta, and then the four energy versions of Ginga, X, Victory, and Orb will then cover him. And you'll hear the fusion riser say, New Ultraman, Zero Beyond. Now Zero Beyond has 4 sluggers. Again, now removable. But he basically has a more powerful attack of his wide Zero shot. He also can use the Millennium Slash, except in this case, instead of it being its normal green energy color, it's purple. Now he has a new finisher in this case called the Bulky Chorus. Now, Zero will hold his arms out like so, and 6 orbs of energy will appear. He'll then bring his arms up together, charging the orbs, then thrust them out like so. And then the orbs will fire 6 beams of powerful energy. Now, he also has the Slugger Chorus, where he can use his Quattro Sluggers, basically 4 Zero Sluggers, and launch them along with his Bulky Chorus. Now, there's also Zero Beyond Glitter Mode, which basically is wow, that thing is bright. I can't even get a good image. Basically, it's a shinier version of Zero Beyond. And how this came about is by Jade using 2 fusion capsules and the actual Ginga or Victory and X, infusing their power into it, will transform Zero into Zero Beyond. Because, as we learned in Ultra Galactic Fight New Generation Heroes, Zero cannot transform without Leto. I find that a weird design flaw, but hey, because in the show, Belial transformed without the need of a host. And again, that is Belial, and he kind of breaks all rules. But basically, it's a more powerful version of his Zero Beyond. But now he has an in-game exclusive form called Grand Saber Zero. However, as you guys know, I do not like to go over in-game forms. So if this form ever does appear outside of the Fusion Fight games, I'll go over it in a little add-on video. So that's pretty much it for Ultraman Zero. The Ultra who hasn't had a name yet, either physically or through the trinket, can somehow appear in every series. Next time we'll go back to the beginning. Start and look at the Showa Ultraman, starting with the original. That's right. We're talking about the first, the one, the great, the grand, the awesome, the original Ultraman. But that's for next time. What do you guys think? You want me to talk over some Zero specials and movies? Let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button and please subscribe to my channel. I don't update often, but when I do, hit that bell icon and you'll get all the latest updates. Well, that's all for now. This is Jack Killer saying, "Shut!" and see ya. Where's that stop button?